That's fiat medicine. That's where you go see a doctor. You basically relinquish all of your health and medical rights and say, doctor, I don't know anything. You know everything. You're the demigod here. Whatever you say, I'll do blindly. I'm not going to look into it. I'm not going to do an internet search. I'm not going to think about, well, why? Why me and no one else? Why do I have this? What's different about me? What am I doing? Am I doing anything wrong in my lifestyle? Is it my environment? Is it my food? Why would any rational human not look at those things first? It's because we've been trained in fiat schools that if you have a problem, you must turn your problem over thoughtlessly to an expert. The first thing is a personal admission that I want to applaud you for. You actually thanked. You're thankful for your disease, and that step of personal improvement. So many people either don't want to make that step, or they don't even recognize that that's a step towards the solution. Is being thankful for a disease, being thankful for an addiction, being thankful for your poverty, because that's the first step of rising above it. That's the first step is not, don't let the disease become part of your definition. So many people do that. It's like, oh, I'm a psoriatic. That's just who I am. And so therefore I've got to take all these medicines. I've got to go to all these doctors. I've got to do all this stuff. No. Acknowledge your disease or your autoimmune condition. Acknowledge your metabolic whatever. That it's not part of who you are. Part of who you are is the journey to discover what's the root cause of this. Not what artificial medicine can I mask the symptoms with, or in your wife's case, what injection can I take that actually will retard my immune system, make my immune system less efficient, thereby increasing my risk of infectious disease and cancer. No, that's obviously not the solution. That's not fixing the root cause. That is a fiat solution. That literally is slapping a half-ass Band-Aid on it. That's not going to give you any long-term health. It's not going to give you any meaningful health span or lifespan improvement. It's just a temporary shitty Band-Aid. And so what you were just describing, we've already talked about fiat money, which all your listeners understand that concept, or quickly coming to understand it. But then we talk about fiat food, and this is basically commodity food. Any food-like substance that a government can turn into a commodity, and they can fill up a cargo ship with this and ship it to another country. And it can sit in the cargo ship for a month, and then it can sit in a warehouse for 6 months, and then it can go to the factory and get processed, and then it can sit on a supermarket shelf, a grocery shelf for 6 months and still be edible. That's not real food. That's never real food. And one of the things that I fell in love with real keto carnivore foods is you cannot scale them up. They encourage local production. They encourage local farmers and local ranchers. Real food must be produced locally or semi-locally, right? We can try to raise beef in Argentina or mutton in New Zealand and then ship that all over the world. And that sort of works, but you still never get the scale of a company like Kellogg's or General Mills or Mondelez or Kraft Heinz. You never get that multi-billion-dollar scale with real food. And that there's a lesson in that. Just like with you've got $20 million of fiat money that you keep in the bank and you keep in the stock market, and you feel very comfortable that you're very safe, you're very wealthy. That's going to come back and bite you, just like those shots that your wife was injecting for her autoimmune condition. It's exactly the same paradigm. That's fiat medicine. That's where you go see a doctor. You basically relinquish relinquish all of your health and medical rights and say, doctor, I don't know anything. You know everything. You're the demigod here. Whatever you say, I'll do blindly. I'm not going to look into it. I'm not going to do an internet search. I'm not going to think about, well, why? Why me and no one else? Why do I have this? What's different about me? What am I doing? Am I doing anything wrong in my lifestyle? Is it my environment? Is it my food? Why would any rational human not look at those things first? It's because we've been trained in Fiat schools that if you have a problem, you must turn your problem over thoughtlessly to an expert.
To an expert.
Right? Oh, you got $1 million, you don't know what to do with it? Oh, get a financial advisor who was trained from grade school to believe in fiat money and to believe in the fiat economy. Give that person your $1 million to invest for you because you're not an expert. That's a recipe to wind up broke, right? Going to a specialist and getting these injections that literally cripple your immune system. That's a way to wind up with your health destroyed and to have a short, miserable life and die prematurely and have no health span in the interim. Do you see? I want everybody to see how all of this is related. It's all the same fallacious paradigm. Is that I'm not responsible ultimately for my disease. I'm not responsible for my financial freedom. I'm not responsible for anything. I'm going to relinquish my responsibility. I'm going to turn over. I'm going to make someone else the custodian of my health, of my food, of my finances. I'm going to let someone else be in charge. That is not the way. That's not what made humanity the apex species that it is today. That kind of thinking is always fallacious. It's always long-term disastrous. It's always going to go to zero, whether you're talking about food or health or money. It always goes to zero.